Ladies and gentlemen, a murder is always shocking, it's always horrifying, it's always brutal. But how do you even begin to describe the murder of a 4-year-old child at the hands of his own mother? How do you describe it? Words fail me this evening. It's simply mind-boggling as to why a Harvard-educated CEO of an AI company murdered her own child, her only child. Did her impending divorce trigger a killer depression? After all, an Oxford study finds that depressed people are 3 times more likely to commit violent crimes. Why did Suchana Seth kill her only child? The Goa police is struggling to answer that question. The motive isn't clear. They say she was estranged from her husband, but that's all they are saying. The husband is currently in Indonesia. He's now been called in to join the investigations. In her initial questioning, Suchana has said she tried to slit her wrist after killing her child, but then changed her mind. So she wanted to commit suicide after killing her child, but somehow, midway, she changed her mind. Now, this is a story that is deeply, deeply disturbing. Suchana Seth is a Harvard graduate, the CEO of an AI startup based in Bangalore. This is what happened. The 39-year-old checked into a service apartment in North Goa on 6th of January. That is 3 days ago. Her 4-year-old son was with her. Nothing abnormal about that till she left the apartment yesterday. Her son wasn't with her. When the staff of the service apartment inquired about this, she said he was with a friend. What the staff also found strange was that Suchana was actually insisting on driving down from Bangalore to Bangalore from Goa when flying was much cheaper. She insisted on them arranging a cab. They let it pass till they discovered blood stains in her room. When they went up to clean it, they immediately called the police. The police called her. She said the blood stains were period stains. She claimed the child was with a friend in Goa. The police asked for an address. She gave them an address. The police went to check. Turned out to be fake. The Goa police smelled a rat. They called the driver this time and spoke to him in Konkani, a language that Miss Seth would not understand. They asked him to quietly take a detour and head straight to Chitradurga, where the police would be waiting for him. Ladies and gentlemen, what followed was a collective gasp of horror. The police began checking her luggage. And when they went through her luggage, they found the body of a little boy. This little child had been stuffed into a bag. The Goa police is questioning Suchana. A post-mortem of the child is underway. But the question still remains, why? Suchana's last post on Instagram is on your screens. It was about her son. The picture of her son and a fish. In October, she had posted this picture of him at an aquarium with the hashtag "What Will Happen" and "Magic of Childhood." It's a childhood she now stands accused of strangulating. Again, the question, why? Listen in to the Goa police before we go to our reporter. Let me go across to Arunil, who is joining us on the broadcast. Arunil, again, we know the sequence of events, we know what happened, but is the police saying anything at all on why a mother would kill her only child, a 4-year-old child, a baby actually?
Well, this spine-chilling murder that has taken place in North Goa has not only shook the entire country, Shreya, basically it has shocked the investigating officers as well. That is why they basically are trying to connect the dots as well. In this, they interrogated the woman they get to know that she also tried to commit suicide. This is from top sources from investigation team that have informed Mirror Now. She tried to commit suicide by cutting her left wrist. However, later on she changed her mind. Immediately put the mortal remains of the boy in a bag and tried to basically book a taxi, paid rupees 30,000 for the entire taxi fare as well. Now, what the Goa police is trying to find out is what was the motive of the murder and how the boy basically died, how he was murdered. Their entire investigation is at 3 different locations. One is at Chitradurga, where a team of Goa police is already there, where the mortal remains of the boy have been kept. Post-mortem has been done. The forensic reports are still awaited. Based on the forensic report only, how exactly the boy was unfortunately murdered by allegedly murdered by his mother, that can be ascertained by the Goa police team. The other investigation has been done at the Candolim Hotel, a plush beach in North Goa. Basically, all CCTV evidences have been looked at. What exactly the mother's son duo did in their time of vacation or when they were staying in that hotel, that has been thoroughly checked by speaking to the hotel staff, hotel owners, as well as people who might have seen her. The third investigation is from Bengaluru, where the woman basically worked. Her colleagues have been spoken with, her neighbors have been spoken with to find out what exactly may have led her to take such kind of a drastic step. Because an educated woman, a woman who was successful in her career, taking such kind of a gruesome step, killing her own son, the Goa police basically suspects that the divorce that has that may have led to some kind of depression and has resulted in her taking such kind of a huge step. But whether that is the only reason, whether she wanted to take vengeance from her husband, all these things have been looked into, or whether there is any other foul play in this, that is also been ascertained by the Goa police at present. The husband in this case, the estranged husband of the woman, he has also been contacted. He has reached India. Tomorrow we can expect him to reach Goa, where he will also be interrogated. So yes, extremely gruesome murder in North Goa. The cops basically found out because the hotel staff alerted them about the bloodstains that could be seen inside the hotel, and when the woman left from the hotel, the child was missing. The child was not accompanying her. She lied about the child's whereabouts as well, saying that he was with another relative. Now, what exactly unfolds? How many skeletons come out of the closet with respect to this entire investigation? We'll be keeping a close eye on that show.
All right, we leave it there then, Arunil. Thank you very much for joining us. As we speak, there is a post-mortem of the child's body that is currently underway. So thank you very much, Arunil, for joining us with the latest that we are getting. We also heard, as I said, from the Goa police earlier today. They are not very clear on the motive, but they did hold a press conference, given that there were many questions around this gruesome murder. Listen into what they said.
Case is in the initial stage of investigation, so it requires more efforts to confirm what is the motive. But prima facie, जब लेडी से हमारे इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग ऑफिसर्स ने बातचीत की तो उन्होंने ये बोला कि उनके हस्बैंड के साथ जो रिलेशनशिप है दैट हैज़ नॉट गुड. इनके डाइवर्स प्रोसीडिंग्स ऑलमोस्ट फाइनलाइज भी हुआ है एंड देयर वाज सम कोर्ट ऑर्डर बिकॉज ऑफ विच शी वाज वेरी अनहैप्पी. The interrogation is still going on. Abhi, we have to take her before the court, and based on further investigation, we will give you more details.
My guest this evening, Dr. Vikram Singh, is a former DGP of the Uttar Pradesh Police, joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Deepak Raheja is a psychiatrist with us as well. And Shivani Misri Sadhu is a marriage and relationship counselor. She's joining us on the broadcast as well. Dr. Vikram Singh, can I just start with you? Can you wrap? This is not the first time we are seeing a mother murder her child. We've seen it. In the Indrani Mukherjee case as well. But in that case, the daughter was a grown-up daughter. There were dynamics which were beyond our comprehension. In this case, this is a 4-year-old child, completely dependent on his mother. He's the only child. Can you wrap your head around why and how something like this would have happened?
Shreya, good evening. Like you, I'm also shell-shocked and numbed on how this brutal and ghastly murder took place. I have seen many murders, the ghastly ones at that, but this has indeed left me absolutely numb. And the manner in which it was conducted, divorce-related stress, we have seen so many divorce-related stresses. One doesn't chop off and butcher a 4-year-old baby like that. One has to be a depraved monster to do a thing like that, and the mind has to be wired in a very different direction. And which I feel that in spite of being an ex-Oxford or Harvard or whatever, be the CEO of an AI startup, I feel there was something absolutely lacking in the heart and mind and the spirit. And that is what explains a divorce is not a sufficient reason to butcher your own child, your own flesh and blood like this. I take you back to Mrs. Doubtfire, where Robin Williams, in fact, went to absurd lengths. And that is on the basis of real story. My children are like oxygen to me. I cannot live without them. That was one extreme, and this is the other extreme, Shreya. And I, for one, would like to understand that perhaps the emotion and the ambition, coupled up with the divorce stress, indeed put us on a short fuse. And therefore, ambition has to be tempered with caution. Ambition plus caution plus also a degree of maturity, then you are fit to be a mother or a father or a parent. Just ambition, then perhaps parentage is just not meant for you. You'll excuse me for my brutal words, but the fact of the matter is, I find the youngster to be very ambitious, nothing wrong about it. But ambition, if you are fit and mature, and in fact prepared to give the sacrifice of a parent, Pitra Devo Bhav, Matra Devo Bhav, where is that Devatri? That seems to be totally missed. I mean, for what? For your own comfort level, you have massacred, you have butchered, and slaughtered your own flesh and blood. This is just not acceptable. There are deeper psychological, psychosomatic studies that need to be done, and police studies will come much later. But the fact of the matter is, I have seldom, in fact, I've never seen a brutality of this magnitude here. And I, for one, am a seasoned veteran of the police department. When I'm shell-shocked, what to talk of people and youngsters like you and others on the panel.
Dr. Deepak Reheja, could you help us understand why? Look, we don't have all details of the case. Was the lady clinically depressed? We don't know. This is what the police is saying. She was very unhappy with visitation rights that had been given to her estranged husband, that she was going through a difficult divorce. This is what the police is saying. But was she actually clinically depressed? We don't know. Could you help us understand if someone who murders is wired differently? In this case, this isn't just a murder of someone you don't know. This is the murder of your own child, a 4-year-old.
And for us to believe that clinical depression could prompt or push a mother to be able to slaughter and kill her own child is something which is unfathomable. So obviously she is suffering from a serious, thought process, and it needs to be delved to understand if there was any serious psychiatric morbidity, if she had a history of anything, and as we get more details, we are going to find out if whether this was an aberrant personality, because as we clearly see, and the panel and you and the whole world seems to at this point understand clearly that this is one off. I mean, a mother has a predisposition which is natural towards the child. The umbilical cord never goes away. And a 4-year-old child, like we were also talking about, you mentioned in the Rani Mukherjee, for a grown-up, if there were conflict of interest and if the child was posing to be difficult, extraordinarily difficult, but this is a 4-year-old who's totally passive. So for a mother to conjure to be able to do this, I know what really we need to understand is if this was premeditated or it was impromptu, the spur of the moment, but just trying to get to the husband to prove a point. I mean, you butchering your own child. I mean, she's a techie. She is the CEO of a company called Mindful AI. So I hope if she had been mindful, or people around, if there were telltale sign or more clear signs that we'll now begin to surface and understand, if the society is more mindful, then maybe trying to get help to people like this, because even if it was impromptu and impulsive, this is definitely an aberrant mind which needed very, very serious help. And I'm not willing to accept
No,
and believe that cues would have not exuded to people around, to society around, uh, colleagues around at workplace or at large, whoever she was interacting with, who may have not
okay,
figured or conjured that she was unstable and needed serious help. So I think it's important for us. I mean, the take
okay,
home is to
but
be able to pick up cues and at least get some help in terms of, at least if nothing else,
help.
major psychotherapeutic assistance, because it doesn't look like she's psychotic. It doesn't look like she's
Okay,
schizophrenic.
can
It
I
doesn't look like she
can I
has
just
depression with her. Yeah.
we don't know. Again, we don't know. Is she schizophrenic? So far, we don't know. Was she clinically depressed? So far, we do not know. Was this in a fit of rage, Dr. Vikram Singh? Look, I'm not the one investigating the case, right? But if I just look at the cold facts, if for a moment we believe this was something done in a fit of rage, this was not something planned. This is a mother killing a child. There would be, even if you have done it in a fit of rage, there would be deep, deep, deep remorse. And at
Remorse.
no point would you try and save yourself. Yeah, remorse. And at no point of time would you try and save yourselves. At no point of time would you lie to the staff of the place you're staying in, tell them to arrange a taxi, stuff the body of the child as part of the luggage, and then try and carry him off all the way to Bangalore. This is not the act of someone who's killed someone in rage. My own sense is she had thought about it, and she had thought about it deeply.
Shreya, you have hit the nail on the head, and your conclusions, I'm totally in agreement with them. A cold blooded, deliberate, pre planned murder. And the absence of remorse, and to the contrary, trying to cover up all the evidence in the sense saying that the blood there was because of a particular physiological issue. Also telling the police that the baby has been left with a friend. That goes to show and indicate that the mind was working perfectly well as far as intrigue and also the instinct to save oneself, the intrigue and the conspiracy also to safeguard one's own interest. That was perfectly. The mind was working very well. This does not happen in a moment of stress. Those who commit murders, cold-blooded, in a moment of stress, in a moment of rage and emotion, they take the head, the carcass, the body, and the weapon, go to the police station and surrender. I have committed this, and I'm extremely sorry. But then to cover up all the evidence, remove the evidence, and when the police accosts you, you come out with a story and prepare an escape route. This is absolutely indicative of one thing: cold-blooded, planned, deliberate murder. And I totally agree with you that your conclusions would be that of a very seasoned investigator. And I agree with you in toto share.
So Shivani Misri, just come in here and help us understand. One of the things, again, as I said, the police is questioning her. There's a post-mortem underway. We don't have the full facts at hand, except the fact that the body of a 4-year-old baby was found stuffed in the luggage of his mother. She allegedly murders him. Now, what is the police telling us? The Goa police is telling us two things. She was going through a difficult divorce. B, the Goa police is telling us that she has told them during interrogations that she tried to commit suicide herself. These statements will, of course, be verified. But Shivani is someone who looks at marriages closely. Is this how bitter it can get sometimes? Where to avenge your partner, you end up killing your child? Because that is one of the theories that is being floated. I'm not saying it's necessarily true, but that is something that is being discussed.
Hi Shreya, this is absolutely shocking to hear and see, but I would like to share a few things before I go into that dynamics of the marital relationships. When a mother kills her child, it is called maternal filicide, and it happens for various reasons. One is spousal revenge, second is postpartum psychosis or depression, poor mental health, acute psychosis, or fatal maltreatment. Sometimes suicidal thoughts also, when the mother thinks that if if she kills herself, there would be nobody to take care of her child, and that's when she kills her. There are some reasons, but mostly, all these reasons are laced with anger, greed, hatred, and revenge.
Okay, but does it come to a point in a marriage? Can I ask you, if anecdotally, if you can tell me, if it comes to a point where couples will go to any extent to extract revenge from each other?
I've seen couples fighting over children, having a bitter custody over children, who will have the exclusive rights over the children. But a relationship takes a lot of time to come to a point where they no longer see eye to eye. Reasons could be alcohol, reasons could be substance abuse, reasons could be a prolonged period of emotional or physical abuse, partner not standing up for them, communication breakdown, domestic violence, infidelity, commitment issues, so on and so forth. But I have not seen such a case in my long term of my experience.
Because what Suchana has told the Goa police is that she was unhappy over the fact that a court of law had given her husband visitation rights to the child. Again, you are telling me that when a mother kills a child, in most cases, it is for revenge, to extract revenge from her partner. That is what you are telling me. In this case, are you telling me that could possibly have been the reason, that possibly could have been the motive?
Since we don't know the exact reasons, I'm assuming it to be one of the reasons, because when a couple is fighting over a custody, or they're on the brink of a divorce, usually mothers think that they should have the exclusive custody of the child, and if the court doesn't permit that, so that may be the breeding ground of resentment or hatred or revenge or any other ill feeling.
Dr. Deepak Raheja, I'd then quickly want to ask you whether you think what happened in a fit of emotion, not rage, but maybe rage was part of the emotion, or whether you think it was deliberate, it was cold-blooded, it was well-planned. And B, also, at the beginning of the show, you said something that I found interesting, and of course it's true, that not every clinically depressed person has a murderer lurking inside him or her. I understand that. But there is an Oxford University study that seems to tell us that people who are clinically depressed are 3 times more likely to commit acts of violence. Is that true? Is that not true?
That is definitely true, that people who are depressed may exhibit more violence, but violence to the extent of homicide and to the extent of a mother, contemplating and executing the murder of a child. So, couple of things. Number one, an apartment room, which is a service apartment in a hotel room or a bread and breakfast, is not the best place to execute a premeditated plan to eliminate or kill your child, because disposing of the body, trying to stuff her in a bag was not going to be easy. So I have a feeling we really don't know what may have contemplated between the husband and the wife, what she may be going through in vis-a-vis her psychological state, what prompted her. So there is definitely a distinct possibility that it may have happened on an impulse, because trying to organize a big bag, stuff the body, and when the body was being taken out, trying to get a cab from Goa to Bangalore was going to definitely arouse suspicion. And she's an intelligent woman. She's educated, and she carries the intelligent head over her shoulder. So she wouldn't, I think, make a stupid mistake like that. But having done that, the way and the manner that she's dealt with the guilt is also very worrying as a trend that you would see in society. Because like you were rightly saying, and Dr. Vikram was also rightly saying, that a person would usually break down. A mother would usually break down, would surrender, would not really try to manipulate and do stuff like this. This almost reminds us of some of the very gruesome murders that have happened in the past. And a mother, killing a 4-year-old who may have not accrued too much of negative emotional baggage with any of the parent, and certainly not the mother, to decide to kill her. So I think this, the manner in which she tries to cover it up, the manner in which she answers to the police is depictive of a woman who's very smart, who's very intelligent, and now faced with that situation where she doesn't have an option. She's trying to get away with that cold-blooded murder, which is shell-shocking, but certainly is very worrying as a trend. But it is one off. I don't think we need to generalize it. I don't think society needs to start worrying and all children and their safety with the mother or the parent needs to be a cause of concern. This is definitely an extremely unstable mind. And even if it was impromptu, if it was an impulse discontrol, as we get more details, we find that this instability and signs of instability would stem back to last few weeks and months and maybe years, depending on if she has an
Okay.
aberrant personality or suffered from a XS1
Okay.
diagnosed psychiatric illness.
Okay, Dr. Deepak Reja, we'll leave it there. But one thing is very clear: this is the doing of a very, very unstable mind. That is very clear, irrespective of whether she was clinically depressed, whether she was schizophrenic. This is not a stable mind. This is a very unstable mind. You're saying this is a one-off. Yes, it's a one-off, but it's mind-boggling. This murder is mind-boggling. The question remains why. That question, I think, will remain a mystery till the time the police has finished speaking to the woman and till the time a court of law has decided what her motive was. What could possibly her motive be? That is something that India is talking about right now. I'm glad all of you could join us to throw some light on what you think. Dr. Deepak Reja, thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Vikram Singh, thank you for your time. And Shivani Misri Sadhu, thank you very much for your time as well. Thank you for joining us. On that note, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's much more coming up on the other side. Do stay with us.